Greetings. My name is Jeff Hall. I'm the CEO of Gator News Feeds. I didn't start off being the CEO of Gator News Feeds. I started off being the CEO of a news and information site called The Latest, or thelatest.com. So let's start there. Thelatest.com is a news and information site that covers any and all topics. We have serious news, trending news, entertainment news, sports, lifestyle, extra, opinion, and my latest is a section where you can actually personalize your experience. And all the news that you see here is being pulled together by something called an aggregator that we built. We tried to use some other aggregators out there, but nobody could do everything that we wanted, so we ended up building our own. In fact, two aggregation companies out there fired us as clients because they said that our data requirements put their servers into meltdown mode or something like that. One group was charging us $2,000 a month, and then they ended up charging us $35,000 a month, or they wanted to anyway. We finally said, forget it, we're out of here. And one of our programmers said, why are we wasting time with all these aggregation companies? Why don't we just build our own site with an aggregator built in? Well, I didn't know anything about this stuff, and I said, well, if all these other guys can't figure it out, how the hell are we going to figure it out? But lo and behold, we did. It took us forever, but we have what we now think is the best news aggregator in the world. So now we're talking to you about taking our technology and supplying you with a news feed on whatever the topic might be that you are interested in. Let's say you are a gossip site and you want to know what's happening with Kim Kardashian. If you type in Kim Kardashian and hit return, our system right now is looking for all of the stories out there on the internet that include mention of Kim Kardashian. And this is updating all the time, all day long. So every time a new story comes in, we'll have it. We're not just about frivolous things. If you want to know about business, we have a section here on business. We literally cover everything. We have something like 55 different categories of content that we cover, and we have 1,500 sources in our source library. Now, chances are you only want to focus on one topic at a time. It might be something that's hot in the news right now, like cryptocurrency, or cannabis, or artificial intelligence, or it might be the Red Sox, or maybe wine or craft beer. It could be anything. And we can now build a news feed that will look something like this that will appear on your site. It'll look like it's coming from you. People won't even know that we're working hard in the background to make this happen for you. So why would you even want a news feed? Well, I think three reasons, really. One is it'll make you look professional. It'll make it look like you are a thought leader in your subject of expertise. It'll give your users another reason to hang around. They might come to your site and decide, hey, I'm learning a lot here, so I'll spend 10 or 15 minutes on this site instead of 30 seconds or a minute. And then last but not least, it's good for you to know what's going on in your own area of expertise. Let's say you're into cryptocurrency, which is very hot right now. So this site here, this part of our site, is all about cryptocurrency. So we have keyword filters, we have up to the minute prices for all the different coins, we have all the news out there about cryptocurrency. And so let's say you have a site about crypto, well, we can basically take this and put it onto your site. So now let's talk about Gator News Feeds. So we built thelatest.com. It's up and running. We're getting really good feedback for a lot of different features that we have, and I'll be showing those to you right now. And now what we want to do is work with you to supply you with a news feed. And if you pay us a monthly price, which is what we're proposing here, then you will help us fulfill our journalistic mission, which is thelatest.com, which is a politically neutral site. We cover any and all topics. We believe in showing all points of view. If it's a political story, we show how liberal, moderate, and conservative sources are all playing the same story. Same with our commentators. So that's what we want to focus on. And if you buy a news feed from us, you will help us focus in the area that we want to focus in, and then we're going to help you focus in the area that you want to focus in. So now let's go back to the latest. The first thing you need to decide is how many sources do you want? And in my experience, having played with this now for a while, you could start with maybe 5 sources for your topic and you would look okay. I think 10 sources is better because it'll keep a steady flow of content going. As you get up into 15 or 20, it's a very nice, rich user experience. But once you get over 20, 25, 30, I think it starts to become too much. You don't want to overwhelm people, I don't think. I think part of the challenge today is that we're all drowning in information, and if you throw too much at people, they just tend to shut down. Now, some big companies, they like to know what everybody in the world out there is saying about them right now, both in traditional media and social media, and whether there are thousands of sources, they don't care. They want to see it all. And we could do that for you. I just don't think it's very practical for most small to medium-sized businesses. But if you are one of those power users and you want all that, talk to us and we can make that happen for you. The other next decision you need to make is how many keyword filters do you want? So here's our section on crypto, and crypto has a lot going on these days. But let's say you only want to know what's new with the Winklevoss twins. So if you click on this tag here, boom, now what we're doing is we're searching our database for all the stories that include some mention of the Winklevoss twins. And here you go. Every single one of these stories includes the word Winklevoss in there somewhere. So if you want to have filters, I think 1 or 2 or 3 makes sense. Maybe 5 makes sense. You don't have to go this deep the way we have, but you could. So what we have here is a cafeteria line, and we're going to offer you a number of sources that you can pick, a number of keyword filters you can pick, and as you go down our cafeteria line, you can pick and choose what you want. And then the more sources and the more keyword filters and the more bells and whistles you want, it'll just cost you a little bit more. So the next issue you need to think about is how often do you want your site to update? On the latest.com, certain sections of our site update every 2 minutes. We have a section here called breaking news. This updates every 2 minutes. In here in the top stories area, it's more like every 20 or 30 minutes, I think. If you get into lifestyle and entertainment, I think it's every hour. So we have a timer on all of our content, and we spread it around because you don't want too much happening all at once. It can crash your system, and we've learned the hard way how to solve that problem. Another issue for you is how far back do you want your archives to go? So let's go back to Winklevoss here as our example. These guys have been in the news for years. These guys are the people who came up with the original idea for Facebook that Mark Zuckerberg then ran with. And we've been building our site for a very long time. And our archives go back years, maybe 2 years. But your site might be very different. So here's a story from 1 month and 1 week ago. But we go back years. And maybe you only need a day, or maybe you only need 30 days, or maybe you need 6 months, or maybe you need a year. So once you tell us what you need, we're going to plug that into our little model here and tell you exactly what your monthly fee will be for your newsfeed. Now there's a lot of functionality here. I showed you the search bar just now. You type in any term and you'll get a result. And we can do the same for you. If you want a search bar as part of your site, we've got it. Here's something that we do that we like, and people tell us they like it. We call this the side-by-side feature. So if it's a political story especially, you notice up here we have all these different sources. Mediaite, Fox News, they're all talking about the same story. Jeff Sessions and Trump today is March 1st, 2018. So then we have Fox News, Politico, Huffington Post, The Blaze, Reuters, NPR, the New York Times. We live in very toxic times in terms of politics and media. And what we do is we show you how all the different media outlets are playing the exact same story at the same time, and then we leave it up to you to figure out what to make of it. We don't have a political point of view. We're not trying to tell you how to think. In fact, we have a section here called The Latest Thinking. And once again, all points of view are welcome. So everybody's talking about Trump and what's happening at the White House right now and gun control. That's a hot issue right now. So we have all kinds of people with different opinions, and they're all mentioning Trump and politics. And we have liberals, we have moderates, we have conservatives. We don't care. We think it's important to show you all points of view. So that's what we do. Now, this is a very sophisticated thing that we do. I'm guessing chances are good you won't need this, but if you do want it, we've got it. It's just one more item on our menu that we would charge you for. Another thing that we do is in our top stories section. This is a new feature. Some of these stories can linger for a while. If something hot happens in the news and everybody's talking about it today, a big shooting or something like that, right now you can see this story came in 36 minutes ago, so that's not that big a deal. This will be replaced very quickly with another story, and as a new story comes in, it just pushes everything down a notch. But let's say it's a really big breaking story. We can actually, our computer is smart enough to know that it's a big story because suddenly many media outlets will be talking about the same story at the same time. And we can slow it down and keep it here in the top position for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. We have a way to go in there so you can slow it down if you want to keep it at the top of your page. Another thing we can do is, let's say a story appears in your newsfeed that you really don't want. You're upset because it says something that maybe runs contrary to your company policy, or maybe they're saying something bad about you on the newsfeed. Well, this little X here would give you the ability to remove that story. We don't use that very much on thelatest.com because we think all news stories are important. But different people use news aggregators for different purposes. And if there's a story that appears on your site that you don't like, you will have the ability to kill it. Okay, now over here on the right, we have what we call the latest thinking. These are opinion pieces, and these are people who write about any and all topics. It could be sports, it could be politics, it could be gadgets. Here's a lady, Marlene Geyser, why we need dogs. So I'm going to open this now, and you can see here that we allow opinion pieces on really any and all topics. The latest covers everything. You will probably only cover one topic at a time. And then we have comments down here. So let's say you want to have writers who you know to provide original content on your site. This is the module that will let you do that. It's kind of like a WordPress site, only it's not, but we can work with WordPress sites. So if you have people who want to write commentary about what's going on out there, or analysis, maybe you're into business. Let's go to business and see what we have there. Well, you can provide this on your site. You can have people writing about business topics. You can write your own opinion pieces, which will help position you as an authority in your field. I think it's a very cool thing, but this is just one more feature that we would charge you for. So now we're showing you so many features that we're getting to the point now where we could say to you, look, you don't want to just pick and choose an item here or an item there from our menu. If you wanted to, we could literally talk to you about licensing our entire template here. We could change the design a little to make it look like it's your site and not our site. In fact, we would like to do that. We wouldn't want your site to look exactly like our site. So maybe you would do a site on military affairs, and maybe the design up here has camouflage or something, or if it's cannabis, maybe it would be marijuana leaves, or if it's AI, maybe it would be little digits. We can change the design to make it look more like it's coming from you and not from us. And right now we have a very low introductory price. You can essentially take our cloned site and then rebuild your own source library based on your own topics. You can use your own ideas and come up with a navigation menu here that would be pertinent to your site. And right now, to get us started, we're only charging $1,500 a month for the whole kit and caboodle here. And I'm telling you, the aggregators we tried to use were charging a minimum of $2,000 a month, and they could not do half of what I just showed you. Now, the other thing that we do that I think is good is, look, I'm not a techie. I'm a 66-year-old newspaper guy. Um, when you work with some of these other aggregators, or at least the ones we tried, they were incredibly complicated, designed by some true geniuses, I'm sure, but we couldn't figure them out. And we were on the phone constantly with them to the point where we drove them nuts. And even my young interns in their teens and 20s couldn't figure it out. There were all these forms to fill out and all this artificial intelligence stuff. We just said, look, this is for the birds. We're going to make this so simple that even I can understand it. And what we want to do with you is just say to you, look, we don't want you to learn our system. We don't want you to learn all this background stuff of how this works. What we do want is for you to simply tell us what you want. And once you tell us, we will go into action, and our people here on our side will build your source library, build your navigational system. Now that our site is built, it's not that hard. It should only take us a couple of days, and then boom, you will have to figure out on your site how wide you want your column to be and where it will appear on your site. Or maybe if somebody clicks on your news aggregator, it'll open up a brand new tab. We can work with you on that. And in fact, when we get towards the end, after we are ready to give you what's called an API, we will send our news signal to your site. At that point, we will need to talk to your developer for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Your developer will know exactly what we're talking about, and then bingo, within a couple of days, you will have this thing up and running on your site. So let's go back to Gator News Feeds one last time. I'm almost done. This is sort of an introductory showing of what we do here. We took the idea of online gaming news to demonstrate what this thing could look like on your site. So you can see here, it's maybe 3 or 4 inches across. You could probably do it in 2 inches if you wanted, 6 inches if you wanted. We're very flexible in that respect. You tell us what you want and we'll make it work. And if you're on a WordPress site, we'll use all the same fonts and everything that you use already. So it'll look like it's very nicely integrated with what you do. So here we go back to these keyword filters. I just want to show you that one more time. So here the topic is gaming news. We have a search bar here, but we also have these keyword filters built in. So now I just clicked on Nintendo. So it's now searching our source library, and all of these stories here include mention of Nintendo someplace. So we could do something similar on your site. So in conclusion here, why is Gator your best option? Well, we're better. I swear to God, we're better. We're simpler. I'm telling you, this is so much better than anything else out there. We're faster. We're going to have this thing up and running in a couple days on your site. With the other people we worked with, they said just to learn the basics could take 2 or 3 weeks. It took us a couple months, and even then we couldn't figure it out. We're also less expensive. These other guys are charging you a fortune. It's beyond ridiculous. So this pricing here, we need to talk to you and go over your wish list of what you want. I think the very minimal we might charge you would be about $150 a month. And if you wanted the entire template of our whole site, that's more like $1,500 a month. Chances are excellent you're somewhere in the middle. We are just getting started with this, so we don't know yet what our average customer will pay, but if you come on board, we'll start to find out. Here are some ideas to explore. We're very entrepreneurial here. If you're a startup and you want to use our technology and you want to build your own site, we can essentially do that for you. We might even take some equity in your company for doing it. But we have done the sweat equity thing as far as we possibly can, and now we need to start charging at least some cash, but we're very creative and open to ideas. Here's some information about us. I'm a newspaper guy, former vice president at the Los Angeles Times. This is Cindy Brown here. She's in charge of our customer service and sales. We will both work with you to figure out what you want. Once we understand what you want, um, and we'll do it all over the phone or by Skype. We're not going to make you fill out a bunch of forms. Here's the one form that we have, which is just tell us who you are and how do we get in touch with you. And then we'll spend 5 or 10 minutes on the phone with you or Skype, and we can help you pick and choose exactly what you want. Once we know that, we can tell you on the spot what your monthly charge will be. If it sounds a little too high, we can tone down what you're requesting. If you decide you want more services, we can add to your menu and your charges will go up a little bit. And once we know exactly what you want, we'll tell our programmers, and then in a couple of days, it'll be working on your site. And by the way, you can always change what you want. If you think you're offering too much or too little, just talk to us. We'll work with you, and then your pricing will change too. All right. So I think that gives you a feel for us. Here's our new little mascot. His name is Gator. He looks like a friendly guy. I think that's the point we're trying to make here, is that we are very friendly people, and we just want this to work for you. And I'm very confident we can make that happen. So we look forward to hearing from you. My name again is Jeff Hall. I'm the CEO of Gator News Feeds. Uh, I hope you will buy our service so I can get back to my true love, which is thelatest.com. I'm a news junkie through and through, and I think thelatest.com is the coolest, best news and information aggregator ever built. I love the commentary. We have kind of the voice of the people. I really like the fact that we are politically neutral. I think we need this in our society these days. Um, Things have become way too toxic out there. So if you help me, I want to help you. Okay? Over and out for now. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much.